Alright, so in the last one we created a new wall type, and now I want to use that wall type to place it in the into the model. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back to my wireframe. So I'm going to come down to my view control bar and go to wireframe so I can see my walls. So basically, what we might have is a zigzag of that exterior wall type that we made, because all these other walls are going to be glass, right? They show as glass. So let's go ahead and go to wall, and you'll see there's my basic wall, and it wants to go ahead and start drawing. Now it's going to draw by height, which is what we want it to do. It's the top of it. The top constraint is up to level top of column, and we'll look at that in just a minute. And that's going to be a 9-foot height. The location line is going to be, so it's going to draw from the wall center line. This is kind of important, depending on where you're going to pick. We're going to pick on these grid lines, and that would be the exact center of this particular wall. And it's going to chain them, and it's not going to offset them or radius them. So basically what I want to do is come in and draw a wall that stretches, from there to there. Right, so now I've got a wall in there. All right, if I go to my hidden line, you're going to see, if I zoom in, right, there's that wall. There's the gypboard, right, and then there is the exterior metal trim. All right, and so we could go ahead and come over and go back to wireframe. So you kind of have to flip back and forth because we have that floor in there between wireframe. I'm going to go to wall. Just click there. Click there, and we'll pretend. Now you don't want to stop for windows or anything, so just make sure that we'll zoom in, take a look at that. So there's that wall, right? If I go to my hidden line again, right, there are those two walls. Okay, now we can look at this in 3D. So I'm going to go ahead and over here in my project browser, go to 3D. And if I rotate around, right, you can see there, let's go to hidden line, right, that this one, the siding's on the outside, this one, the siding's on the outside, but this one, I think we accidentally got the siding on the inside, right, so it needs to be flipped, right, and it won't let you flip it in a 3D view, but if we go back to our level 1 view, you can then flip it. And now if I go back to my 3D view, you're going to see that, did it flip it? That it did flip it. Now I'm having problems rotating, so I'm just going to pick the object that I want to rotate around. And don't worry about this sort of topography mess right there. We'll fix it. You can see the topography is kind of going through the middle of the floor, but that's all right for us right now. Okay, so I'm going to go back to level 1. I'm going to zoom out a little bit and go back to a wireframe view. Now, you can come in and start adding in other walls. And again, don't stop for windows and doors, just create them. So if I go to architecture, wall, architectural, go to the pull down, you're going to get an option of a bunch of interior. So if you go to interior 4 7/8 partition, you can just take a sneak look at it and see what it's made of. If you go to edit type and look at the structure, it has a metal stud that's 3 5/8 and then 5/8 on either side, which is fine. You can change that to 1/2 inch if you want to, but I'm just going to leave it. And then I'm just going to come in and start drawing walls. So I'm just going to hit escape, right, to stop it. Now these walls, as you might guess, are on those grid lines. So I'm just drawing these interior walls on these grid lines, using them as snaps. Right now, if they're off a grid line, generally I'll come in, and that's 6'8", and that seems like a reasonable amount, right? And then draw that across to there, right? And just go in and keep adding those walls in until you get them all in. So I'll go to hidden line right now. You can sort of see where they are. So go ahead and add all your walls in, and then we'll put a roof on it. All right.